the former president of the United States recent health declaration. And if you are new or if you've not been following the news, he was recently diagnosed with prostate cancer, which has already spread to his bones. So, if you want to use the medical term, it has metastasized. So, it has not just grown from a small, um, benign growth in his prostate. It is now malignant and it has spread to other organs in such a way that it has affected his it's affecting his bones. So obviously not what you want to see for other people, and not something that you want someone who's had such power over a long period of time to suffer from. But it is what it is. So we I do not agree with Biden on a lot of things, but I am sad to hear that. It's sad to hear that anyone gets that kind of a disease, and particularly in this advanced stage. So for that, I'm really sorry to hear. I think what is the real controversy here that we're trying to get at is if he has cancer that has metastasized, he did not just have it in the last 100
Yesterday.
days.
Mm-mm.
No, again, mind you, this guy just left office January 21st. We are almost May 21st today. So 4 months ago, he was president of the United States. And so it cannot just come from magic out of the air. That the president of the United States, who by law is supposed to do medicals yearly and publish the results. Sometimes it's part of a heated debate. Are you going to publish your results or not? Suddenly they find out that he has prostate cancer that has metastasized. And by all indications, this is actually a simple disease to diagnose when it's at the early stage. It's a simple test, the PCA test that everyone can do. And anyone above 55, usually if you go for a yearly checkup, your doctor is supposed to tell you to go and do this thing because most, especially if you have history of cancer. So I think that's a real controversy that we want to hone and share our insight. Did you think this guy had cancer while he was president or even before he became president?
I have empathy for the guy. But you know, I am one of those who say I can speak ill of the death in the sense that if it's true, right?
Yeah.
Because you're dead does not mean we have to come and sing
Around
your
that.
praises. I could really criticize you, just as I could criticize Joe Biden despite the cancer diagnosis.
Right.
And I think my biggest criticism, and most people are thinking about this, is when did you know that you had cancer?
Yeah.
That's a big question. When did you know? When did Biden know that he has cancer? People would say, "Oh, that is a conspiracy theory." Yeah, well, say whatever it is you want, but I think it's a reasonable question to ask. I mean, it's a stage 9. When did you know? It doesn't take 2, 3, 4 months to get to stage
Right.
9. Or are we saying that your doctors have been negligent to the point where you go for a physical and they don't check? I go for a physical and my doctor insists we do it. You are president, probably one of the most important and most influential people in the world,
Yeah.
and you go for physical every year, and your doctor doesn't say, "Hey, man, let's do a prostate." So it is hard for me to accept that this is a diagnosis that he just got.
Right.
I get the feeling that he probably got a diagnosis while he was in office, or got that diagnosis before he got into
Before.
office, and as usual, they hid it from the people.
Right.
I remember Biden, every journalist that I know from CNN to MSBC they said he was the smartest. His brain was top notch. He was
They can't keep up with him.
he they said every good thing about Biden,
Right.
and then all of a sudden they realized that I don't know if it was, I mean, no official dementia diagnosis, but now they started saying that, oh, he forgot here, he was confused here and there, and that's how they got him out of office, because they said he was not mentally, cognitively strong to lead. But again, these same people had been putting up a serious fight. Each time you said Biden was confused there, or Biden misspoke, or Biden couldn't remember, they put up a serious fight. So my question is, did they know and choose to keep it away from I mean, I'm not American, but from us?
Right.
Isn't it the right of the American citizen to know the health of the people they're electing into office, to know that at least this guy is in good health?
Yeah.
Right. So it's a question that is out there. I heard who's this guy's name, Jake Tapper, who
He's
was
reading
one
a
of,
book now.
he has written a book now, and because he has written a book, and I'm sure there's a lot of this information in that book, now he has to come out and somewhat tell the truth, even though he tells the truth in a very, but he is telling the truth. So yes, we realized at some point that he was not meant, his mental acuity was really
Right.
not there. He wasn't strong enough. He wasn't, now they say, okay, did the cancer thing come? He said, no, I didn't hear about cancer when when he was in office. So
Yeah.
I think it's a legitimate question to ask. When did
Right.
we know of this? And Trump does have a lot, well, a little bit to say. If you don't mind, I would put up
Right.
Trump's clip, and we might probably have a few things to follow up, depending.
Right.
From that clip.
Under President Biden being diagnosed with cancer, are you going to call your predecessor?
I think it's very sad, actually. I'm surprised that it wasn't, the public wasn't notified a long time ago, because to get to stage 9, that's a long time. I just had my physical. You saw that. You saw the results of that particular test. I think that test is standard to pretty much anybody getting a physical, good physical. When you take tests, medical, as a male, that test is very standard. I don't know if it's given to everybody, but it's given just about. And it takes a long time to get to that situation. Now, I think, to get to a stage 9, I think that if you take a look, it's the same doctor that said that Joe was cognitively fine. There was nothing wrong with him. Well, he said, if it's the same doctor, he said there was nothing wrong there, and that's being proven to be a sad situation. Why did it take so long? I mean, this takes a long time. It can take years to get to this level of danger. So it's a very, very sad situation, and I feel very badly about it. And I think people should try and find out what happened.
Yeah. That's right.
Yep.
And I thought Trump showed good compassion. I mean, the first thing he did was send his well wishes to Biden. I thought that was good for someone who has always been, uh, who a lot of people think he has a persona of being brash, and he said a lot of negative things about Biden. But I thought that was class of him to like say, "I'm sad with that, and I wish you well." But he's right. He did not have cancer in the last few days, and they need to investigate. And they need to investigate the doctor who was following by. Either you're incompetent or you're part of a massive cover-up. And
Yep.
it's not just you; you're in cahoots with the media,
Right.
because anybody who could like come out and say, "Oh, we don't see this guy." You said that earlier. We don't see him. He's losing his train of thought. A lot of word salad, a lot of things. Suddenly, Biden is a stutter. Like Biden never used to stutter before, or now you're mocking someone who stutters. Or you say, Biden, I don't think he's thinking well. He doesn't look as sharp as he is. Suddenly, you become a conspiracy theory. And so, this is a massive cover up. Again, like you said, people came out and said he was the sharpest guy. They can't keep up with him. His acuity, his mental acuity is top notch. He switches from one topic to another. He's able to address the room multiple. So that's clearly false, you know. And when people saw these things and brought it up, of course, you're the enemy. I did not want to see Americans progress, but it's really sad. I feel really bad for him if it's that late. I don't know what treatments, but particularly considering his age, would be appropriate for him. But like you said, we wish him well. And he also questions all the documents that he has been signing, all the executive orders that he signed. Do you think he really knew what was going on? If he did not, who was ruling the greatest nation on earth? I think those are things that we have to find out.
Good
I
question.
think because if he's losing his train of thought and cannot doesn't know where he is, sleeps early because he's too tired, looks like he's in a nursing home and has to be shown direction by his wife or by other people, it's confused. Is that somebody that was really leading the country? If not, who was? So it's very possible that the United States
Some do argue that there were a group of
they
people
were
who the Jake Sullivans and again even Dr. Jill Biden. People
Jill
argue
Biden, his wife, and
that
people are calling
he had
Obama
a lot of
too.
influence. Obama, especially in the last days,
In
right,
the
when
last day.
things went really off hand. And
Right.
again, yeah, it's people who were not necessarily
No,
elected
elected.
to
People are
be
not elected
president
to lead the country. That's a
who
huge
were
thing.
who were leading who
That
were
is a
leading. So
huge call for concern
true,
because
the executive
you
orders that he signed, I don't know if he read and understood them. I don't. I mean,
understand.
I'm not even sure if he directed the writing of the drafting of those executive orders and what they were
Right,
all for. Because
right.
towards his last days, it was obvious that he was done.
He was done.
Right?
He was
It was
done.
obvious that he was done. And then you have people like this making arguments and making excuses. I just would
Right.
like us to listen to
Mm.
uh, White House
Press secretary
press secretary. What's her name
Karine
again?
Jean-Pierre. Karine
And
Jean-Pierre.
it was
Yeah.
hidden from the American people. So who ordered White House officials to cover up a declining president?
I know that is a narrative that you love and
In
wait,
10 days,
hold on.
he did a press conference
Hold
at
on.
NATO. I'm in it. There's all these things that I
Hold
need
on.
to finish. And then 10 days later, I'm dropping out.
Okay, wait, okay, you're asking me like two multiple questions here. Let me wait.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I was saying that if you watch this press the press secretary, or what they call her, she took a very her approach was really not what you
I
normally
thought
see.
she was trying to, right. I thought she was trying to downplay a very serious concern that a lot of
Yeah,
American people had. And people could see the cognitive decline that Biden was going through. But of course, she has to defend her boss. She works for the guy. So it's fair. But then when you purposely go out and lie to the people, particularly people who are about to go to the polls, and your guy, possibly at the time, was an incumbent,
yeah.
you are ripping people of the truth to make informed decisions about who's going to have the highest office of the land. So again, I've mentioned already, there are serious concerns here. If the guy was really in a cognitive decline, I'm not American like you, but I think it's fair for American people to know who has been the leader of their country for the last few years when the guy was obviously not in the mental state to make decisions. So it's a fair question, and as a foreigner will be watching their Congress, I hope they can be able to get down to the bottom of this matter and tell us who exactly was leading the country. People who were not voted for, yeah, first, and who exactly are those people?
Yeah. So I mean, of course, we want to hold people accountable for their actions. And also, even though I have a lot of empathy for Joe Biden, I think
Oh yeah,
for obvious reasons, I think he probably shouldn't have even had a first term. I think he should have retired after they came out of office as vice president. I mean, vice president is high enough. I think he could have taken some time and gone home and retired. But he came,
yeah.
and again, you can imagine that he could have been president now.
Again,
You could imagine, right, that he could have been president if things did not play out the way it did.
yeah.
But Joe Biden could have been president.
I mean,
So,
and then these are the people who lecture the world about democracy.
right.
You know, these are people who go out and in many cases fight in foreign war because they want to install democracy in other countries. There was seen a clear example where unelected people who were not voted through a democratic process were leading the country. It's very possible that unelected people were leading the country. So but I'm sorry to say, you don't have the moral high grounds to tell other people that they are not practicing democracy when you have clearly dismissed the democratic process first by installing Kamala Harris. A lot of people don't remember this because we have short-term memory. Kamala Harris was literally installed to be the Democratic nominee. She did not go through any primary, so she did not have delegates vote for her. She did not have to campaign amongst her peers to come out as the best person. They just voted Biden out and then installed her to run as the the candidate for the Democratic Party. So when you have this, I'm sorry, you don't stand the moral high ground to tell other people that their way of governance is shitty or they should adopt a democratic process because clearly you're not practicing democracy in your own country.